I've always kind of hated and at the same time been fascinated by the CEO, right? Like, what do they do all day? Like, what is that like? You're working, but you're a CEO, so like, you don't really have to answer to anyone except your board of investors, and it's probably a lot of fancy lunches and things like that. But like even outside of work, like what is that like to have that life? I'll never know what that life is like. Is it anything like my life? Like I like to sing in the shower, and I wonder if CEOs like sing in the shower but like change the lyrics of songs to fit their situation. So like the song Sweet Caroline, like when they're in the shower are they like sweet bottom line duh, duh, duh. Like do they sing things that are kind of like they couldn't really sing them in front of other people? And like we all know about like the stereotypical like guys at the bar hunting for chicks or talking about, locker room shit, right? So there's all those like hunting or scouting terms like nice ass or TNA or whatever. Well, with CEOs, when they get together, do they talk that way about us? Especially like if they're scouting for diversity and inclusion, like, is it like, oh my God, slightly overweight and Brazilian? Dude, that's a twofer. That woman is going to check so many of my boxes for my company, right? Uh, there should be an app actually for CEOs who are hunting, who are like scouting for diversity and inclusion. I would call it Pandr. And on Pandr, you could have like the tagline be like meet real inclusive CEOs in your town looking to meet globally diverse applicants with a lust for hustle. You'd hear like two CEOs talking. The one's like, I don't get it, Clark. I've been scouting for 2 weeks and I'm only getting matched with white lesbians. And then Clark would be like, oh, you gotta talk to Phil. His Pandr game is on point. 3 interviews this week, and I heard one of them was a disabled Chinese Bolivian female to male transgender on HRT. He's on fire. The other guy would be like, man, I'd love to get that on my payroll. And instead of the normal apps where the ladies are usually like, not looking for a hookup. The people trying to get hired would be like, just looking for a hookup, just looking to get hooked up with a good job. And then on the CEOs on their profiles, you would see things like, I've got a huge bonus if you're the right fit. And you might say, well, that sounds pretty cringy, and it would be cringy, but it wouldn't be any less cringy than what we have now. CEOs can't be trusted. They're just like dudes on dating apps. So of course there'd have to be verified profiles. Like you'd have to state like what your corporation is and how many employees you have. Because I've seen on some websites someone puts that they're a CEO, and then you look at how many people are in their company, and it's like two, three, and it's like, oh, you're the CEO of 3 people. What are you working out of your garage? So you'd have to have a verified profiles, of course. Because CEO hiring practices, at the end of the day, they're just as shady as dudes on dating apps. It really do be like that sometimes, okay? And I'm just wondering, can we get a little more transparency? Have some fun with it and add some transparency to it? Because, like, CEOs' lives are very secret. They're very protected. They can check up on you. They can check up on your credit rating. They can check up on if you got busted, drinking. Maybe you had a DUI years ago. They find out all that shit before they want to hire you. But I feel like we should be able to vet them like they can vet us. Can we just balance it out, please? A little bit? Little bit?